The Smite Talk podcast is proudly sponsored by Tweaked Audio. Go to tweakedaudio.com for high-performance noise-reducing earbuds. Use the code OctanePro for 33% off and free shipping anywhere in the world. Check out tweakedaudio.com today.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 12 of Smite Talk. I am your host, Octane Pro, and joining me today, as always, is a new guest. We do have Adam, also known as Hi-Rez APC, who is the esports tournament manager for Hi-Rez Studios. How's it going, Adam?
Hey, what's up, dude? I'm doing great. It's been a long day, but it was an awesome day of Smite esports, if any of you guys caught on to that.
That's right, that's right. And I love chat, like right off the back, they see APC. They're like, oh, we got Tribes Talk coming on here. Tribes Talk.
Yep. Hey, I'm okay. Like I said, I'm okay with talking about some Tribes. Tribes is my baby, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
That's right, that's right. So those of you guys aren't familiar, this past week, we saw an announcement on Reddit where Hi-Rez has gone ahead and, I guess, shifted some of APC's responsibilities. And now he is the esports tournament manager for Smite, and I guess as well as Tribes. Is that correct, Adam?
That's right. I'm still in the tribe side of things, but since we have a lot of focus going into Smite, pretty much 100%, then yeah, they needed a hand in some departments, and I said I'd love to be a part of it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, guys, we're going to have like a quick little interview with Adam, just kind of talking about his involvement in the Smite scene, the esports scene, what to expect with the tournament scene, his thoughts on kind of the tournaments at this point, stuff like that. And then afterwards, we're going to open it up to callers. So if you guys have questions for Adam regarding esports for Smite, regarding the up-and-coming tournaments, the current tournaments that are going on, future tournaments, or thoughts about certain things, feel free to call in. Once again, if you guys are just joining us for the first time, this is Smite Talk, and it is kind of an open discussion show. It's about 45 minutes to an hour max, and you guys can actually call in by using Raid Call. So go to raidcall.com, sign up for an account, and then go ahead and launch Raid Call, and in the top left corner, it's going to ask you to search. All you got to do is put in the code, which is directly below me. It is 7461039. And that'll allow you to join the Raid Call channel. And when it's time for us to bring in another caller, I'll just go ahead and move you to the on deck status, and then from there I'll move you directly into the channel. And then you can kind of hang out with Adam and I, talk Smite. You can ask your questions, you can give your comments on certain topics, stuff like that. So make sure that you guys do definitely check it out. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into the meat of the show here. And we'll go ahead and jump in, kind of our introduction to Adam, also known as Hi-Rez APC, and we'll just kind of start here. So growing up, what video games did you play, and did you ever dabble into the competitive scene at all?
Yeah, so I mean, this might be a little lengthy one because it wasn't a short life of video games for me. It's been a long time. I guess we'll start off with my first computer, playing all the DOS games out there. My dad was really into computers, wanted to get me introduced with it too. So I was like, all right, I'm playing, the Wolfenstein, the classic Wolfenstein 3D game, sure. The regular Doom, even like Commander Keen and all those. I mean, if you guys know those games, more props to you. But then, I started exploring more into like the multiplayer scene when I started getting into things like Counter-Strike. That was like 1.3, even before that. I love Counter-Strike. I still do to this day. And then I got into like Delta Force. So I went to the store to buy the new Delta Force that was coming out.
Okay.
And this guy at the store is at Walmart. It's probably the only good advice that I've ever gotten at Walmart was to pick up this game. And it was Tribes. And I was like, I don't know about this. So I bought Tribes behind my mom's back because I was only 12.
Okay.
And the game's T for teen. My mom was very, very strict on that kind of stuff, we also had game consoles available to us from regular Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and whenever my brother would play like Killer Instinct, my mom was like, "You can't watch, you can't watch." So I bought this game behind her back, and I loved it. The game was just awesome. What sold me on the game was the fact that you can wave to people, and other people would turn around and wave to you. And like, no way.
You bought
this
the
is
game.
a thing?
You bought the game just for that, huh?
Well, yeah, not really, but that's what sold me. I was like,
Yeah.
this is really cool. And I was like, hey, Erin, one of my sisters, and
Sure.
I showed her. She thought it was cool. My mom saw it. She's like, what is this game? No, that's it. Uninstall it. Give me the CD, whatever. Long story short, I stole it from her when
Okay.
she stole it from me, and I played it ever since then.
Sweet.
Tribe has been my baby, as I mentioned, and
Sure.
it really got me hooked. I played that thing every single day of my life. I remember telling myself after like the 5th year of me playing into Tribes 2. Tribes 2 came out shortly after.
Sure.
That I was like, I can't think of a day that I did not play Tribes, even when I was on vacation.
Wow. Okay.
I would find a way to play Tribes. So I was playing Tribes, but in between I'd play other games, of course. So I guess we'll talk more about my competitive scene, where
Sure.
I first started off with I play a lot of pickup games in Tribes 2, but once the Tribes 2 scene started to get smaller, I went into Counter-Strike with some of the Aurora guys. If any of you guys follow Tribes 2, you probably know Aurora. They were the best Tribes team in Tribes 2, towards the end at least.
Okay.
And yep, so I started playing 1.6 competitively with them. I made it to Cal M. Couldn't get it past then. People are just too good at that game. And so, that was the period where Tribes was like, is there going to be a new one ever again? Tribes Vengeance came out, and it was a bomb. Like, it was just a bad game that didn't get any support after like its second patch.
Okay.
It was looked at to be the worst Tribes game.
Okay.
And so I needed something to fill my time. So I was in college around this time. And that's when I picked up Team Fortress 2. Like, I pre-ordered it, I played it in beta, and I played it competitively from day one. And my team was a top 3, top 5 best team
Wow.
in the world. And yeah, I had a great time. We were sponsored by EVGA.
Okay.
That's when I was like, man, this is kind of cool. And like, I
Sure.
love the atmosphere of like competing. I've been a big sports fan. I played sports all my life. I'm wearing Denver Broncos right now. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
My team got knocked out by the Saints, so it's okay.
Dude, yeah, the Saints are going to go down next round anyway. But we could talk about that some other time.
That's right.
So yeah, I was very into sports. I played baseball as a pitcher. I played soccer. I played basketball. I still play basketball. In fact, we play basketball at work after hours. We have a parking lot with a basketball court.
Okay.
Hi-Rez is the one that gets it together.
Sweet.
And from Todd to KP to just random people in the office just getting together to play basketball. And we do that
Nice.
2 to 3 times a week.
That's pretty cool.
It's a blast. Yeah, so that really got me into knowing people then. But anyway, back to the thing
Sure,
about competing. So I had a very competitive mindset. So Team Fortress 2, I was really good. I'm not gonna lie. I was a scout, so I liked
Okay.
going fast. It was like that's how I am in video games. I like
Sure.
the fast characters because Tribes really is all about being fast. Then Tribes Ascend came out, and I put a lot of my time into it, and I played that competitively,
Okay.
and I won money at tournaments such as NASL, where we won 10K
Nice.
from Hi-Rez Studios, and I played in other lands, and my team was pretty much undefeated. We were the best team in Tribes Ascend.
Okay.
So that's my background in video games. There's a lot of things in between. As I can't remember every DOS game I played, and I played Minecraft and StarCraft.
Sure.
I watched League of Legends. So I got a huge, extensive background.
Sure, definitely. Guys, don't worry, you guys will be able to call in and talk to Adam, also known as our Hi-Rez APC, right after this interview portion. I see you guys starting to pile into Raid Call, so that's perfect. Please go ahead, connect to Raid Call, connect to the channel below here, and we'll be taking all your questions, comments, anything related to Smite, esports, tournaments, competitive scene, anything. Please feel free to call in with your questions. Moving on to question number 2 here. Adam, can you tell us how you came about working for Hi-Rez? I mean, you ended your last comment there with being within Tribes Ascend and being very competitive, being one of the best teams, and now fast forward, all of a sudden, you're working for Hi-Rez now. How did that happen?
So yeah, I guess that's a good way for me to end my conversation then, because I'm gonna just pick up where I left off.
Yep.
I used to live in Connecticut. I lived in Connecticut for 24 years of my life.
Okay.
And I went to PAX East on my own time because Boston's right down the road. It's 2 hours, but it's very easy to drive to.
Sure.
And whatchamacallit. So I went down there. I actually lived in Boston for a little while. My brother lived out there. I was like, I'm going to go to PAX East this year. I've never been to it. I don't know if I'm that kind of a nerd, though. I looked at PAX East as like, people cosplaying and just a lot of like nerds that
Sure.
I don't see myself as.
Yeah.
But I tell you, when I went to that convention, I was like, I need to be at this kind of event every single time. This
Okay.
is awesome. It's not what I thought it was.
Sure.
And I knew my first PAX East, that's when they announced Tribe Ascend coming out. And that's when I was like, holy cow, I thought Tribe was done forever. So it was really cool. I did not know anything about it after that. But then they came out in closed beta in November. PAX East is usually in March or so. So with it closed beta being out in November, I was already playing Tribes. And so my next PAX East, I contacted Bart, and I'm like, hey, Bart, if you guys need any help setting up the booth, I'll be happy to be there.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, sure, we can always use the help. So,
Sure.
I helped him set up the booth. I helped work the booth a little bit. I then established kind of a relationship with some people there in the Bill, Todd, Bart, of course. And then, as I said, I competed in Tribes Ascend. That's where I also got to mingle with Bart and Nabil a lot. Todd was there. And then come PAX Prime, I was working at a restaurant as a restaurant manager, working like 80 hours a week. And
Sounds like
I was
fun.
kind of fed up with the job anyway. Yeah, I ended my Tribe's competitive career after NASL because I had too much work.
Okay.
But then I looked at my life and I'm like, I'm done with this. I need to do something with my life. Like, I just want to move out of Connecticut. I hate Connecticut. I'm not going anywhere. I went to college for meteorology. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to be a weatherman.
You're close. You're close to that, right?
Nowhere close at all. I'm not using my degree by any means, but I'm happier than ever.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I was like, I quit my job. Bart gave me a job on August 10th. Not job, wow, sorry. Gave me a call on August 10th. And he's like, hey, dude, I'm wondering if you want to come down to PAX Prime with us. We'll pay for airfare, if you just want to help us run the booth.
Sure.
I was like, dude, that sounds awesome. I've never been to Seattle in my life. I love PAX, and I hate my job. So I was like, give me a day. Give me a day. Well, that day, which was August 11th, my birthday, I turned 24 that day, and I quit my job. And they're like, what? I was supposed to open up the next restaurant. It was the next big thing for the restaurant, but it wasn't for me. So long story short, I went to Seattle. Made my connections there. They liked me there. They didn't tell me anything about like what this could have meant, like, oh, maybe you can get a job out of this if you do this.
Sure.
I just wanted to do it because it was my own interest. And so that went well. I moved to Denver in October, a month after PAX Prime. 5 days of me moving to Denver, I got a call from the Bill as I was on, I was right in front of Coors Field. And I was on my bike, and I was like, what's up? He's like, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Let's talk. I was like, yeah, sure. I was on my bike. Let me get to Skype. Give me 15 minutes. I got a bike to my place.
Yeah.
That's where he offered me a job as Tribe's community manager. I was
Wow,
like, no way.
Sweet.
I was like, hold on a second. So this game that I've been playing since I was 12, just for my own pure interest and playing it competitively, making money doing it, that's now going to be my full-time job? Like, surreal, best thing of my life.
Sure.
How can I pass that up? So that's how I pretty much got involved.
Wow.
I had past experience of community management with another game called Legion's Overdrive. It was like the point between Tribes Vengeance and Tribes Ascend. It was a Tribes-like game, and I community managed for them and did a lot of work for that. So that helped me too.
That's super exciting, and like every young video gamer's dream, you know what I mean? To play that game, that game that you played through your like whole life, right through there, and then all of a sudden, I think that's like everyone's dream. All of a sudden, to get that call, be like, oh my gosh, the game that I hold dear and that I put all this time into, all of a sudden, like they want me. So that's super cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. Moving on from there, so how did you go exactly from working for Tribes to now managing the Smite tournaments for Hi-Rez Studios? Because a lot of people, like even in chat, still, oh, he does Tribes, and people just think, oh, that's all you do is Tribes. Well, no, that's not the case anymore. So how did that transition happen for you?
Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm glad people still like know me as Tribes, like, because again, that's my heart and soul.
Sure.
When it came to Smite, like, as I told you, I was a big competitive player. I really like the competitive scene. I like to watch, like, League of Legends, and, I've been trying to get into Dota just by watching it. I can't play that crap. But it's fun to watch. I just love esports. I've always been into it, and, like, I know there's a future in it. And so I expressed that interest, and especially with me, going to QuakeCon this past year, going to Gamescom, going to PAX Prime a few times. It was always an interest of mine, and I've always expressed how I wanted to travel and how I wanted to be into the competitive esports scene like Bart was. So over time, as I did Tribe stuff, was always around Smite, because there wasn't much tribe stuff going on. So, I would either help with a play test if they needed a play test. I would watch what, Bart does, or, I was always around for like the weekly tournaments.
Sure.
And so slowly, I was telling them, I was like, hey, I got some time in my day to do other things. If there's anything in Smite you ever needed. They're like, okay, cool, and they listened to me, but didn't get anything at first. But slowly over time, like, I would start seeing myself get more involved with Smite. It was all more behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
Wasn't public, just, my own interest.
Sure.
And yeah, I guess it all panned out to be exactly what I wanted it to be. I ran pickup games all through Tribes. I started the pickup scene in Tribes. I made the first big tournament for Tribes. Like, it was a draft tournament. It was awesome. It was the We're Going Live draft tournament.
Okay.
It was, to celebrate the release of Tribes. We had, hundreds of people sign up. We had every single game casted
Nice.
in a double elimination fashion. It was awesome. And so people really looked up to me in that kind of manner, which kind of helped me with my community management job too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I had a lot of extensive, and I had experience doing like a league that still goes on today for Tribes.
Okay.
So that all helped me on my Tribes / esports resume to get this Smite position.
Sweet. So, can you tell us a little bit about a typical day for you, what it looks like, and what are your typical responsibilities for the Smite esports tournament manager?
Yeah. Well, I have I have like 5 or 6 jobs that I do.
Okay.
That's what a lot of people do, though. That's kind of how Hi-Rez is. It's like we're a small group of professionals. We're awesome at what we do, and we're not just good at one thing. We do other things when it's needed.
Sure.
And that's what I love about this job, is that I'm really learning a lot as I'm doing it. So as a esports tournament manager, I really picked up a lot of the things that Bart did. We also work together on things too. So when it comes to like payments for teams, communication with teams and players, I'll be running all that.
Okay.
I've been in communication with the admins, John and Blake, for months now, helping run stuff with rules and whatever. I was their go-to guy. The esports site, Bart and I really we basically designed that together, and we've passed it over to like our web producers, our web programmers, and they put it together. They put our vision together, and I tested the functionality. I still to this day test the functionality and find any bugs and get it for them.
Sure.
I'm doing all the competitive players are being closely watched by me, as I have a separate reports list that if they have BM throughout, even not in the tournaments, but throughout the week, I have to come up to them and be like, hey, you're known as a competitive player. You need to act like one. We're holding you to higher standards as it states in the rules. So I do that. I write the rules. I wrote the whole rules for this past tournament series.
So they're gonna call you. So do we call you the enforcer from now on?
Sure. I mean, that's. Yeah, I mean, John and Blake do the enforcing, and then I make the end of the day call, which I talk to my execs too. Really big thing, I go to Todd. I'm like, hey Todd, we got the situation. What do you say? Bart, what do you say? It's a group effort. Make sure we're all on the same page and we all agree with it's not just one person making the call. Yeah. Because I like to have different views on a lot of different things. When it comes to the rules, I spit it to like 5 different people. Made sure there was not just typos, but make sure this makes sense. Make sure I'm not the only one that thinks this is a good idea, and I love that. And I do event planning. As we go into the 100K tournament, I'm writing the schedule that the teams will have to hold by when they're here, and like I said, I'll be their main source of communication. So throughout the whole time of them traveling and being here, I'm their go-to guy along with Bart.
Sweet.
But I also do, as seen on Smite TV. I mean, I do tribe stuff still. I have to deal with Kelly because I sit next to her. That's can only imagine how bad that is. Yeah. I flirt with Bart a little bit, and I do other stuff behind the scenes that I can't talk about.
Ah, okay. Well, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I guess the next question here: what do you feel you have learned from the Tribes tournament scene that can now be applied to the upcoming Smite 2014 tournament scene?
Yeah, from my community management experience, getting to know players from the inside out rather than being from the outside looking in. Sure. It's a huge different look. And I think I benefited from that too, from me being the guy from the outside looking in and be like, yeah, you might think this, but we see it as this as a player. So that I think helped benefit in the long term for me, as well as now me seeing the the other side of the coin, and it's really different, like I just said.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I think with that combined experience, it helped me over time, start to really get a good feel of both sides of the stories. And then especially with tribes, like I said, I started a league with a guy called Jim Christ.
Okay.
There's a pro league and there's an amateur league. Because a big thing that I've always said is that the reason why we don't have a lot of people coming out and making teams and tribes is because there's 2-3 head honcho teams that just dominate the scene. So why should I, as an amateur team, bother to play in this tournament that I know I'm not going to win? This team's too good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You want to win. You play to have fun, but when you're playing competitively, you do want that prize. So when you know you can't get the prize, it's discouraging. So, Jim Christ and I, we worked on this league idea that separates the pro scene from the amateur scene. Both scenes win a prize. And it's really good. It worked out great, and it's on its third season. Europeans just finished their third season. North America's finishing theirs. Looking forward to the fourth one, most likely. Okay. And I would love to push something like that in the future where we have like a pro scene that, we still have like 1K a week that we give out, but we also have like a amateur league that we can support as Hi-Rez. But there's also those community tournaments that you guys know from Tier Monster and the Smite community and all.
Yeah.
Those are always, anybody out there that's watching, like if you're in the competition, play in the 100K tournament. You got nothing to lose.
Yep, that's very true.
You just might be one of the 4 teams that qualify. That's, there's strong teams out there, but there's so much room. Even if you don't place in the top 4, you got that experience against those teams, and we have plenty of more ahead of us in 2014, 2015 that we're talking about, and it just gets better and better. So get the experience now when you can. But with that experience I learned from the leagues and tribes, I really I know what players need, what players want, and what we with Smite.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. Just like some of the ideas there that you have, like, even a qualifier league, kind of what you mentioned, where even having a qualifying league that would set you up to go into the larger like pro scene, even allows some of those smaller teams to kind of be a little bit more interested and a little less threatened by some of those larger teams. So I think there's a lot of great ideas and a lot that you could bring specifically from tribes directly into Smite. Jumping into our last question for Adam here, and then we're going to go ahead and take community questions via raid call. So if you guys have any questions regarding Smite, tournaments, esports, rules, what we can expect
about me, give me your worst. I don't care.
That's right.
Bring it on.
I mean, you could even call in, guys, and just be like, hey, what's your favorite character, or what's your favorite god? What do you like to play? But anyways, the raid call information is directly below my video. And you can see once you download raid call, just put in that number that's right there and jump in, and I'll go ahead and bring you in. So let's go ahead and jump to our last question here. Last question is, what do you believe the Smite esports tournament scene can learn from industry giants like Riot's League of Legends and Valve's Dota 2?
Oh, yes. Good question, because I started off, again, like as a spectator of these sports, and before Smite esports was League of Legends, Dota, and Counter-Strike, and DreamHack, all these LANs that go on. Like, I'd always watch these. Twitter was a great way for me to connect to all these things. I recommend anybody getting involved with Twitter, and if you do, follow me. I'm at Hi-Rez APC.
There you go.
Excuse me, but
there you go.
I got that plug in.
Well, you might as well plug it properly here. So what is it actually? You said it all quietly. You might as well. What is it?
That's a shameless plug, but it's simple. It's Hi-Rez APC.
All right. Make sure you guys go follow him on Twitter. There's 838 people in the channel right now, so I expect 838 follows on Twitter for him.
If not already. Yeah, but that's how it goes. It's like Twitter's really my source of finding out anything about esports. Like, you follow them and they always update you whenever you oh yeah, there's a League of Legends tournament going on right now. I got nothing to do. I'm just sitting here anyway. Let's watch it. So as I spectate all these, I've been watching more for how they produce things, how what the stage looks like, how do they transition from one thing to another, what they talk about, and I'm thinking why are they doing this? What's going on behind the scenes? And when I'm at these events, I'm kind of spying on, not spying, but taking notes on what the casters are doing when the games are going on, and so on and so forth. So all those giants, as you put them, we learn a lot from. I personally learn a lot from, and I could tell you that when it came to, when it's still coming to, like, talking about this 100K tournament and what we're going to do production-wise, the stage-wise, schedule-wise. I look at what these guys did and see how we can incorporate it in our system because it's successful for a reason. And I enjoyed what they do, and I want to do what they do and more. So, I'm taking notes. I'm putting my own twist of it. Of course, it's not my call at the end of the day, but
Sure, I understand that.
Always good to, always open to different interpretations of what's going on. And I'll tell you, you guys have a lot to look forward to for this 100K tournament. This is awesome. The Siege event that we put on October was our first one that we ran on our own, production-wise, our own stage and everything. And everyone's like, that was awesome. That was your first time doing it. Like, this is huge. This is great for Smite. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot better than what you saw back at Siege.
That's great. That's great.
You guys might even see a good taste of what our production might look like this next week coming up in the week 2 of the road to the 100K.
Okay.
We have, more staff coming on when it comes to this stuff, or just like more people being focused onto the esports stuff. We're just beginning. Like, it's amazing. I don't want to say too much.
I know, that's right. I was like, he's trying to leak something, but he's trying to hold it back. It's so funny to hear because you're like, we have more staff coming on because like they did mention that in that post. So I forget I forget who made the post. Who made the post on Reddit about the change in responsibilities?
That
That was Todd. Okay, Todd kind of said in there as well that not only you were swapping, taking on this other responsibility, but I believe there was something about broadcasters and stuff like that coming on as well. So some of that was mentioned, but you're like, I can tell you're super excited about the next few weeks just because you're like, I want to say something, but I'm gonna get in trouble if I do.
Yeah. But yeah, I tell people all the time, get excited, and I kind of say it maybe too much. People like, there's a lot to look forward to in 2014. I hope you're excited. Yeah. To the point where it's like, okay, dude, like we get it, but like I am just that excited, and it is going to be that exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's awesome. I think there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, there's a lot to learn from. I mean, people bash League of Legends or bash Dota 2. It's very common. It's very competitive between games in the same genre to bash other games, stuff like that. But I mean, you can't necessarily bash them because they're so successful, and there's so much that the Smite community and even Hi-Rez can learn from them. When not only it comes to like in-game esports and tournaments and stuff like that, but also just events, just like you talked about, and what works and what doesn't work, and I'm sorry, but they have done very, very well. I mean, Dota 2, especially just over the past several months, has been very, very successful with a lot of stuff that they've been doing with their live events. So, yeah, I think it's great that you're looking towards that and taking notes in order to make, the tournament scene for 2014 for Smite successful. So, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a good ride. And from, all the people that I've met over time, from the casters to the players to the community as a whole, like I'm having a great time here. All my friends are mostly Tribes players, and as you can see, that I see a lot of people in the chat right now are from Tribes, and it's awesome to see them here and supporting me. They're very bitter about some things, and I can completely understand, with the focus of Smite instead of Tribes. But for them to support me on this transition was like it meant a lot to me. Yeah. And then all these Smite people coming in and accepting me as well. It's like I love both of you guys. I love being in this industry and looking forward to meeting more people. I want to get involved more.
So do I have to ask, like, you have 2 babies, which one do you favor the best?
I'll tell you, Tribes is always in my heart. Like, I cannot find a game to replace me like Tribes is taking me away. Like, I'm an FPS player more so. Like I told you, Counter-Strike, Team Fortress 2, Tribes. Yeah. I'm more of FPS, and MOBA is kind of new to me, but I'm getting pretty good. If I have to say myself, I'm not bad at Smite these days. I was pretty bad at first. I had a Smurf, so I didn't give Hi-Rez a bad name.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
I finally upgraded to the Hi-Rez name because I think I'm good enough.
That's great. That's great. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into kind of our community portion of the show where you as the community get to ask questions towards Hi-Rez APC. And you have 2 ways you could do that. You could do it via raid call by calling the number directly below. and I'm definitely going to encourage that. We'll kind of go that route first and see how that goes, and then we can always go another route if need be. Let's go ahead and bring in our first caller here in a minute. We're going to bring in Lucid Horse. And once again, you guys can call in and just kind of ask anything. You can talk about Smite. You can ask a question. You can leave feedback. You can comment on maybe a recent change. Keep in mind a lot of Adam's specialties is definitely around tournaments, is around like the rules of the tournaments, the esports scene, his competitive background. So, I mean, feel free to ask those type of questions. He definitely has that experience in everywhere regarding those. And then, he's bringing over a lot of knowledge from Tribes. So, I mean, if you do have any questions regarding the two of them, that's great. Let's just make sure we make the show about Smite, not necessarily Tribes, but it's okay, as Tribes is a lot of his background, and that's kind of what has made him what he is today, and how we can benefit from him as the community. So let's go ahead and bring in Lucent Horse. And Lucent Horse, welcome to Smite Talk. How's it going?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So what do you want to talk about today on Smite Talk?
Well, I have a few little things that kind of intertwine each other.
Sure.
Not really much on the Tribes end of that, but so I guess to start with, I was just kind of thinking, like, there's a lot of changes that Hi-Rez puts into Smite, right?
Okay.
And so there's a lot of big things that they do, and you see those very well, like it's like very obvious. And there's like a lot of small things that they change. And I just kind of wanted to throw out there and ask, like, if you could change anything small in Smite, what would you do?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I had like 5 thoughts cross my mind, and I thought the question was going to go to something else. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to talk more about like, well, and then you have all these big changes. Why do you guys do this? And I was going to talk about how it's still in beta and all, but I'm glad you went into the direction you did with it. If there's one thing that I really want in the game, or like kind of like would change, I think it's more the social aspect, and I'm glad that we changed the way the party system is, because that was something that was kind of like lackluster, and it still needs a little improvement, which we are still doing. But I'm thinking more of the chat section, where it seems so old school to me, and I was looking at it today when I took a nap after the tournament series, I'll tell you that, and Smite was on my screen, and I was looking at Smite across from my room, and I saw like the main screen. I'm looking at the chat. I was like, that's so old school. Like, you got the system tab, you got the lobby tab, and then if anybody PMs you, you don't even get a sound when someone PMs you.
Yep.
So it'd be things like that. Like, get a sound when you get a PM, but like a more intuitive way for chat. Like, I want chat rooms where, like, if I log into the game, I can pick a chat room that says find a team.
Sure.
And then when you go in there, it's people like advertising. Tribes had this, which is why I kind of have this feeling.
Okay.
Because I had a built-in IRC chat where you could idle in there for your team. You can create channels that you can idle with your team. You can meet people. You can start pickup games that way. You can follow someone into a game or invite them to your party that way. So, so the way we have the tab system and the way the chat is in general, I personally think a different way to replicate that would be better in my eyes.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good comment. I mean, it's definitely an issue, which is the worst, where like you get out of a lobby of a game, and you get out of a game directly into the lobby, and you can't even find the lobby tab, because you got to go ahead and close all. If you got a bunch of these PMs and stuff like that, you got to close all of them to go ahead and find that lobby tab, just to be able to say like GG or well played and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I think as you said, it's definitely an old school type of look to it, and today's the day of the floating window and moving that around and being able to adjust that. So I think that's a great response to that. What other questions do you have there, Lucent Horse?
Well, I mean, before I move on, like, Octane, did you have any small changes you think you would like implemented into Smite? Smite, not Spite.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. I guess I can take some of Adam's, space here. I think
take all my shine.
That's right. I think the big thing I would change, what I've found from other games, and you have to look at other successful games to see, what's really good. And the big thing that's bothered me is, when these Smite events are going on, or when something's coming out, you don't see it when you first join into the game. You see the latest god, up on your screen. And I'm talking about after you log in and you're looking at that home screen. You see a god standing there. And yes, it's great to kind of like, brag about it and show the latest god and advertise it. But what I would rather see is a separated area there that has the latest esports information on there, let people know of the upcoming tournament. Because you got to think of it, not everyone is into the Smite esports scene. Some people are just casual and they play the game, but we could get more people into the scene by having different areas, like a community section would be right there and an esports section. And so when you log into the game, you would have one of each. So you could be like, okay, what's going on in the community? And you could have, like a lot of games have, where it's like a graphic and it's like a rolling banner almost, and you could have that and click on it. And then for the esports scene, you could be like you could have something up there about the upcoming weekly tournament, and then you could have something up there about like TSM, joining the scene, and something about the 100K tournament, so that like when you get into the game is your outlet for Smite. You shouldn't have to go to like websites or go to Reddit or go to Smite's site to get the latest and greatest. Like you should be able to do it all in one spot. So that's what I would love to see. As much as I
like that one too.
Yeah, as much as I like seeing the God, I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and I think that's the best place to put it. So, great question, Lucian.
I like that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to sell it to Hi-Rez after tonight. Don't worry.
Make it a patent and
that's right.
go on with that.
That's right. I'll sell my ideas. Anyways,
Nice.
What other questions you got for us?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and you got the Conquest map, which is a lot like Greek themed, I guess would be the word.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Assault map, which is Norse themed, and then you have the Domination map, which is Egyptian themed. Do you think there would be any, or rather, is there another? I guess would you like to see another map that's based on another pantheon aside from those three?
Yeah. Of course. The more content, the better. Of course. And from what our art team, there we go, has done with Tribes and with Smite, I just love the work they put together. It is amazing, the kind of stuff they do. And I think we can all agree the way we saw the Assault changes go, the way the Conquest map is, you guys will be seeing, some new stuff very shortly too. I think it would be cool, and I don't think this would happen because it's a lot of work, and I don't know. I don't know the logistics behind it. But wouldn't it be cool if we could have like a conquest map that resembles like every pantheon, and you get to choose, or it's like random that hey, this one's a Mayan one, this is an Egyptian one, this is Norse, Chinese. It would be cool to do that. It would be neat, but that'd be so much work for one thing, and there's so many other things ahead of that. I'm sure. Maybe in a year or two, maybe my idea could be pitched and accepted. But to answer your question in short, yes, I would love to see something like that.
Great.
I like it.
Yeah, Lucid Horse, what else you got for us today?
My last one, I guess I'll save the other one for another time. But cause don't want to take up the whole time here. What do you think? Because Smite is really, aside from 1v1, is a really team-based game. What do you think of a free-for-all mode?
Oh my goodness. I don't know why that's never even crossed my mind.
Just crossed my mind last night. Right? That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know why I never even thought of that. That's something I might say that to somebody, like one of the designers, and be like, what do you think of this idea that someone brought up?
Sure.
That's interesting. I'm thinking like the arena map that random spawn points, you're not going to have a dedicated spawn point. You just have random spawn points on a map. And then you just go ham.
That would be ridiculous.
I don't know. Maybe a match of the day kind of deal.
Break your mind or something? Like blow your mind right there?
A little bit, yeah. I wasn't expecting something like that. Very cool. That's a good question. I'll definitely mention it and see if that ever happened. If anyone ever thought of that.
Yeah, that'd be actually really cool. What about you, Octane? What do you think about that?
I think that'd be really, really cool. I could see it as a nightmare for the development team trying to set that up. Just the buy zones and stuff like that. Because you would have to protect that. It would have to be like an arena without any. It would have to be like an arena without any buy zones and without any towers, and you could just buy whenever you want. So like you could just run around, buy, and it would have to be random spawns that weren't marked on the map. But I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be perfect. But I think there would be a lot to keep in mind. And yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it would start out definitely as like a match of the day to test it out, and then from there possibly move into it. I'm just hoping that as we start to come up with more and more game modes, Hi-Rez does, and starts to develop more, that we see new maps occur, and we're not just seeing the same ones reused. And I know that'll come with time once the game is launched. I mean, right now we're in beta, and we're going to see March 25th with the launch, but and after that we'll most likely see a lot more time for a lot of that extra development. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, awesome.
Any other questions you
Also,
got for us today?
I mean, part of me wants to go into another one, but I don't know if you wanted to move on to another person or something like that.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pick someone else up. Not that I don't enjoy talking to you, nor have your questions not been good, but I want to make sure that I give everybody some appropriate time. So, Lucent Horse, once again, it's been a pleasure talking
totally.
to you, and thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you for having me, and also APC,
Yeah.
Scouts for the win.
Ah, nice, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Awesome questions.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and bring in Toto. Toto, are you there? Are you there, sir?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
man.
you are.
There we go.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. How about you guys?
Doing
How you
good.
doing?
So, what do you want to talk
Great.
about today?
This one's directed at Hi-Rez APC. What has been your favorite part about working at Hi-Rez?
Oh man, there's so many good parts. I love my job, many aspects. I think one of my favorite things is the fact that I can walk into work in shorts, flip-flops, a white tee, and the person next to me could be in flip-flops, shorts, and a brown shirt or whatever. Just like a random. You could wear whatever you want, is what I'm getting at. And you know, if there's no like, because I'm so used to like the restaurant life where I was a manager, I was a waiter, you know, you always had to be on at the same time with a certain uniform. The freedom, I guess, is what I'm getting at, of working there, and the atmosphere. You walk in and it's just all video game stuff, and everyone around you is a nerd. It's really the atmosphere of working there makes it the best job.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool though.
I think that's a good question, definitely. What else you got for us today?
There's a lot of games like Garry's Mod, which is a computer game. It has voice chat in game. I was wondering if you guys would like to see a in-game voice chat in Smite.
So I can see the ups and downs with that. I know we had voice chat in Global Agenda, the first game we made, and there was positive, negative things to go along with that. So that was before my time of being in Hi-Rez. But from what I've heard, the reason why we didn't add it to Tribes is because it was more of a negative impact on the community rather than a positive impact. And I think we're just carrying that mentality into Smite, where we think it'd just be more of a negative impact than it would be a positive. I know Dota has it. I don't know how the general feel of it is, but
Yeah.
I've never really had a problem with Dota and its voice chat. Personally, I think it'd be cool. I think it should be an option, but it might not just be as easy as okay, let's enable it. I think there might be a lot behind it and might cause more problems.
Yeah, going along with that, instead of saying in-game, but how about having like a party chat? Like if you're in a party, have a voice chat that way instead of like in the public game.
Yeah, that's an idea to think about. I never really looked at it like that, but I mean, yeah, you're only accepting the people that you want to hear. It's not like it'd be some random troll. So I mean, that is an idea. That's a step up from just being random.
So what other questions you got
That's why
for
I
us?
really initiated. Well, the public mumble that we have for Smite, I really initiated that idea because for Tribes, that's what really kept the community together, is being able to mingle with people and play games with random people through pugs and just random voice chats. So since we don't have it in game, this community mumble helps alleviate that just a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So what other questions you
And
got
the-
for APC today?
I don't have any other questions for either of you two.
Oh,
So-
okay. Okay. Well, man, we both appreciate you going ahead and calling in, and you have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, dude, thanks. Smite on. Should that be my tagline?
You can make it, I mean, you've kind of made it right now. I mean, everyone's gonna think of that from now on. I'm gonna put one of your shirts up on the Smite shop store now. Smite on, quotes by APC. All right, let's go ahead and bring in another caller here. We do have what is it, Kairos the Mystic? Are you there, sir?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, we hear you fine.
I can. Wow. What
All
would
right.
you like to-
And I'm actually kind of glad you got my name. Many people get the Y and the R switched around.
No problem. So what do you want to talk about today?
All right, so I have a very specific thought in mind. So I absolutely love the way most of the gods have been represented in Smite thus far. But as someone who plays these games where you have multiple characters to choose from, I usually prefer to play female characters. And the way they've been done so far is great. We have Athena as a tank. We have Nuwa, who was just recently released. I absolutely love her Lamia-esque theme. But the one thing that's really disappointed me so far is that we don't have any female physical bruisers. So my thought is, are there any gods from any pantheon, whether it be existing or hasn't been added yet, that you would like to show as a physical bruiser?
Interesting. So I don't work more in that department. I walk by the concept artists and I mingle, I talk to from the level designers to, the programmers and so on and so forth. So I only hear what I walk by and hear. So I'm not in the discussions of what gods are really next or, the ones that we talked about. But I know there's thousands that's out there. And I'm sure that's been across their mind. I hear about every single pantheon and every single idea behind one. I've seen some cool concepts of different ones. So I really couldn't tell you the real official answer of it. But to tell you my personal opinion, I think the variety of having a female physical bruiser to a male magical mage and so on, the variety of each role to have its own gender and pantheon over time would be idealistic, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think so, but I know it would especially be difficult since, sometimes when it comes to the way that they're actually depicted in mythology, they're usually leaned towards being a mage or being a more light character, like Kali is an assassin. But the thing is that, I still, every once in a while, I'll look up different pantheons where I see a goddess, and I'm like, hey, that would be pretty cool as a bruiser, or this would be pretty cool as a tank, since right now the only support tank we have is Athena, and the other hard support being Aphrodite. So I know eventually they'll get filled out. It's just at the moment, for solo lane, I'm kind of stuck with, do I want to play Guan Yu or Odin instead of having some kind of cool female to kick ass with?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what she would sound like too. I'm thinking of this butch female that's your that's your bruiser. I'm putting a female in Hercules' body almost. Like a weight.
Yeah, an idea I had, because this has been floating around between me and several other people on Smite chat, especially KJ and Element. We were thinking maybe Nemesis would be kind of cool as either a jungle assassin or a solo lane bruiser, because the way she sounds in Greek mythology is she's this righteous retributionist, kind of like a paladin, but a little darker, who goes out dealing what she believes to be justice to those who either have too much good in their life or have too much evil. So I think that'd be kind of cool, with her having a mechanic where she takes damage and then deals it back somewhat.
Yeah.
And I think, that'd be pretty cool for a solo lane bruiser.
Sure.
So, dude, the options are so, there's so many out there that I love what our character designers think of from the ultimates that we have, that they're really intuitive. I mean, as simple as something like Kali's new, 3, where she spits out those 3 spears that they kind of curve, and the way your viewfinder is, it depends on the arc that they take. Something as simple as that, just I love that in Smite's gameplay that you can't really see in other games.
Yeah, when she actually throws those, she throws all of those weapons from her other arms. I thought that was just a really cool animation bit there. And some of the other abilities, seeing the actual gems glow on Nuwa's staff when she activates each of her passives is really cool.
Exactly.
So yeah, eventually I know we'll get female solo lane bruisers and more female tanks, and at the moment I love the female characters we do have, and don't get me wrong, there's some really cool male characters, especially Chalk that was recently added. All of his animations and stuff is absolutely glorious. But if you guys, especially Octane, I haven't heard you speak up, if there's a female god you would like to see as a solo lane bruiser or even as a tank, do you have any ideas which ones you'd like to see?
I can't say I know enough about different lores to really be oh, I'd love to see this one specifically, but I can say that I like the direction you're going in regards to, commenting on someone of a bruiser type, or even, kind of moving from there, even as a tank. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, the game's sexist or the way it's built or whatever. I mean, it might just be a lot of that lore in what we see. So
yeah, well, they're goddesses.
Yes.
Like goddesses
Yep.
are looked up upon. It's like they're not going to look like really
Yes.
out of shape and
Exactly.
ugly. Like most of them are going to be sexy,
yeah.
and so you got to do that.
Hence
Yeah,
the giant bust in all of the female characters in Smite, pretty much.
Yeah, like I
want that.
said earlier, a lot of the mythologies often paint them in this very high, clean, feminine kind of magey type situation. But like I said, I've been looking around, and there's some seriously mean goddesses out there, especially in like Aztec mythology and some of the other mythologies from like Hawaiian and from the Polynesia. Like you just gotta dig a little, and you'll find those goddesses that are
They're all over
they're
the place.
Oh,
Someone
yeah.
posted something in Reddit that was like these awesome, like this. It was an imgur of just all these different pantheons and mythological gods that were just like, dude, this one's cool, that one's cool. Like it went around the office, and we're all like pointing out how cool these guys are. Will they be in the game? Maybe not, but there's so many out there that it's hard to like really pinpoint which ones are going to be next, or they're all an option.
Exactly.
So,
Like it just takes the time, and when the creative juices strike, they'll
Yes.
work on it and they'll get them added in.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on today, and great question, and I look forward to your call back for future Smite talks. Have a good night.
yeah, thanks,
All
dude.
right, you too. Thanks.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and bring in Silk. And once again, guys, I did post in chat a link. It's ask.fm/OctanePro. We'll take one or two questions from there at the end of the show. I know not everybody has the ability to use voice chat, something like raid call. So we will take one or two questions from there. So feel free to go ahead and go there, ask.fm/OctanePro. And let's go ahead and bring Silk in. And Silk, welcome to Smite Talk. What do you want to talk about?
Hey,
What's up,
first
Silk?
of all, hi. How are you? First of all,
Pretty good. It's been a good weekend, a great weekend that we start another one tomorrow, huh? Or start another week tomorrow.
yeah. Actually, first of all, I'm sorry for my English because it's not my mother language and I'm really not that great at it. My question basically is. I love Smite actually, and I used to be a League player, a Dota player. I played a lot of MOBA recently, and I'm still a new player. I'm still level 16. I started Smite and I can't stop playing it. It's really amazing. But why do you think Smite isn't as popular as the other games? This really confused me. Smite is really amazing. I can't understand this.
So, I mean, a lot of it has to do with how young the game is. Sure, it's been out on beta for at least a year. I mean, crap. I mean, I think it was 2 years ago that I was playing Smite at PAX East. So it's still pretty young, and we're coming out of beta soon. If you look at League of Legends also started off really small, and they, a lot of people, saying the game was unbalanced. A lot of things that you might even hear today about Smite that League of Legends also started off as. But as time went on, they got picked up by Tencent, our Chinese publisher, as you may or may not know. They took League of Legends back in like 2008, and they really exploded it. And here we are in 2014, and they're now the biggest sensation of the internet, really, when it comes to esports. So, yeah, thank you for that. So when it comes to like Smite, I think ever since we got picked up by the publisher, hearing all the hype that they have over in China and what they can bring for us, community-wise, I think over time, give us some time that we will be at that mark. It could be a little biased opinion from me, but I think in the reality of things and at the rate we're going, compared to how League was and our plans and everything, I think we really have the potential to be the next big thing. Just give us some time. Beta's still about us, and a lot of big things changing in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is, like, looking at those other games, once again, you said they've been out for a while. They also have, like, certain partners lined up. And Hi-Rez is definitely taking the steps with Tencent. I mean, that's a huge thing to tap into, especially with the Chinese market, Korean market, the way that their culture views video games and idolizes a lot of professional competitive players, too. I think it'll start to rise to that point. People also have to remember, like, it is in beta. There are two kind of industry giants out there that kind of beat Smite to the bullet when it comes to MOBA. So it's not like Smite is coming into the MOBA scene like when it's fresh right off the back, like, you know, hey, what is this MOBA type of stuff. So I mean, that's really why Dota 2 and League of Legends like exploded, because they hit the mark at the perfect timing. And so Smite is kind of is a little bit different. It's not point to click. And so it was something interesting. You know, you and I, APC, were just talking about this before the show, was that like, if you saw today, there was like 7,000 plus people in Smite game, and there was a lot of people that had never seen Smite before, and people were in there that were followers of TSM or a Cloud9, and they were like, oh, this game looks cool, kind of getting burnt out from League of Legends. Let me go ahead and try this game of Smite and stuff like that. And that's the cool thing. But, you know, the thing to point out is like, we don't, unfortunately, you know, there are still those people that are like, oh, I've never heard of Smite, and we need to change that. And I think that's what we can expect from Smite and Hi-Rez in 2014, you know, advertising, marketing, and pushing it out there, because now the game has launched, and now it's time to, you know, knock down those industry giants from, you know, being the top and kind of being in that top 3, so that, you know, when people think of a MOBA, they think of League of Legends, they think of Dota, they also think of Smite. So, you know, I think there's definitely some a ways to go, as you said, definitely some ways to go.
Yeah. You actually brought up a good point I wanted to touch upon really briefly, was that MOBAs started with Dota, and then, you know, League of Legends really expanded that. So when people hear the word MOBA, they think League of Legends.
Yeah.
And so for someone to be like, oh, you know, I already learned, you know, League of Legends. It's hard for me, you know, it was hard to get into League of Legends, or I already know everything about it. It's hard for me to get into another MOBA. So to be like the third, fourth, you know, thought in their mind when it comes to MOBA kind of holds back for a second. But, you know, I kind of look at Smite as not just like a MOBA. It's like an action RPG, or not RPG, but like an action arena or whatever. Like it's its own genre, that if people looked at it as a different thing, you can appreciate League for it being a MOBA and look at Smite as its action arena, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And like people like you, Silk, as you were saying, you know, you started with Dota and Smite, or Dota and League, but here you are just playing Smite full time. It's because it's a different, I think it's a fresh breath of air for you, because I was a League player before Smite as well. I played Smite when it was like closed beta, and I wasn't really a big fan of it. I was like, I like League better. But with the changes and the graphical design and everything that, you know, Smite did in the past like year since then, it's like, dude, this game, I'd rather play this instead of League now. And I think a lot more people, as they have the second chance with the game, as they see this game grow, it's just going to slowly take from that population and not just look at League of Legends as a MOBA, but it will be as, you know, oh, you play MOBAs? Oh, yeah, I love Smite. You know,
Yeah.
it'd be something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Silk, just a heads up, we did mute you just because you had a lot of background noise, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Silk, you still there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. Great question there, and hopefully I see you call in on future shows.
Oh, sure.
Thanks for the talk, man.
All right, we have a few last people to pull in here before we go ahead and round out the show, guys. Let's go ahead and bring in our next person here. I'm trying to read their name because it's like so far away. Welcome to the show, Kucheri. Are you there?
Kucheri, yeah.
I'm sorry. I have 3 monitors, and like Raid Call is the farthest possible thing away from me right now, and I'm like trying to read your name and like squinting. It's ridiculous. Well, anyways,
Nice.
Welcome to Smite Talk, man. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, thanks. First off, I like to admit I'm Kucheri and I'm a Smiteaholic.
I feel like I can do an applaud right now and be like, yeah, great job, yeah.
Is that what they do at those meetings?
That's right. Hey, you ever see like Finding? Okay, I have a son, a 1-year-old son, and you ever see like Finding Nemo and the shark's up there and he's like, oh, I admit, you know, I'm a fishaholic or whatever, and they all clap and they're like, congratulations. That's right. That's what I remember.
That's right.
Anyway,
So what's up?
just a few questions. I'm new to this, of course. Everyone has, you know, been saying I was on League for like a year, and you know, now I'm here, and blah blah blah.
Sure.
A few things I'm wondering. Are you guys ever going to update the store? Because right now the only thing in the store is like buy gyms or change your name. Like, is there like a way like eventually we might have to like we can like buy like I don't know like boosts, like EXP boosts or favor boosts, or actually buy favor?
Interesting. Now, I know back in Tribes we had a way to buy a booster for your XP, and you get double XP as you have the booster active, and it's either a 3-day, 1-day, 10-day, 1-month booster. So I do like that idea. I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing for Smite. I know over time I've sat down and I pitched my ideas. It's always good to pitch your ideas when you're in the studio. Are they all going to be taken? Most likely not, but it's always good to say a thing or two. So I've said my ideas when it came to. I'm sorry?
Multiple brains are always better than one brain.
Yeah, exactly. And there might be that one thing. Like, I might pitch 100 ideas, but there might be that one thing that was actually really good and no one ever thought of. Who knows? I've got to get there. But no, I like the idea of having more available for the store. I mean, it's a free-to-play game, and the way we make money off it is, microtransactions. But as a player, you don't really look at it. You do want to have more to the game that you love. So instead of just buying gems, it is cool to have, like, and unique skins, of course, but maybe I like what League did in the past, which was the avatar next to your name. You could buy different avatars that represent your favorite esports team. Stuff
cool.
like that. Like, I like those ideas.
Skins. Yeah, you can now throw down like a candy cane for your ward instead of.
Yeah, exactly. Like things like that. Like I definitely mentioned those, and I think that's been in the talk. I don't see why not. I don't know what the plan is at all. I'm not part of that end of things. So I'm not going to give you any leaks because I don't have any leaks. I have no help at all.
But, no, I mean, I think that's a really good question to ask. I think anything, for me personally, I think anything you add to the store like that cannot affect and give you, I'm sorry, it can't give you an advantage over other players within the game. So it has to be, aesthetic, as you talked about skins or the way certain things look like words and stuff like that. Gems, you wouldn't really need to buy favor just because of the fact of like you have gems in the game for that exact purpose. But
or like favor boosts, like
sure.
kind of like how League does IP boosts, where you get an extra like 50 favor for winning a game or something.
Yeah. I completely agree.
You can make that like 50 gems for like 5 games or something.
Yeah, and Hi-Rez.
I would even love to see like a skin bundle or something. Like you buy this bundle and you get and then we make a bundle that's like the Rough Rider pack, and you got Thor, Hercules, and something like all
the
these
Hindu, the Hindu Pantheon pack. You get one.
Sure, yeah, that's actually an idea right there. Is a Pantheon pack. That's something.
Yeah.
I will pitch the idea about the boost.
Maybe add the skin to the $30 game pack. When you buy the $30 thing for all the champions, maybe have that come with a skin.
Well, I know that'll drop off. My understanding was that the God Pack, and maybe I don't know if you can confirm APC, but that'll drop off once the game launches, correct?
There hasn't been confirmation of that yet.
Okay.
It could be a thing. Again, like everything I'm saying here is like I'm agreeing with a lot of your ideas because I think it's fantastic, and the more available to you, the better. It can't hurt us.
Yeah.
But there are like, of course, objectives that we want to get to before launch.
Yeah.
It's a very important day for us, so. If you had to ask me, I don't think anything like that's going to happen in the next couple months. But as we do launch, we're still going to produce the content for the game, and I don't see why once the game's launched, why we couldn't look into like ideas like that. So
yeah, no, I mean it's a great way for microtransactions.
I wouldn't give up hope on it quite yet.
Yeah, great question. Great question. What else you got?
My other question, other than where can I get a an application at. Another question is the Twitch thing. I've noticed I stream. I'm a Let's Player. I was one of the original Let's Players like 5 years ago, and I also stream and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the other day I was trying to use the in-game Twitch client stream, and it was horrid. I was
really
2 frames a second, everything. And then at the same time, I can just load up like open broadcaster software and just stream and have that be perfect. So my question is with the minutes, can I use any other Twitch program that's not the in-game Twitch thing, those feet minutes?
Yeah, I mean that's interesting that you brought that up. I remember I was really excited when, the program that was working on that mainly, with that functionality, I was like, oh, that's such a great idea. A lot of people, the reason why they don't stream is because it's really, like, it's not the most easy thing to set up, OBS or XSplit. OBS is easier, but I just think, I think it was a great idea, but just to hear that, that's a shame, and maybe that's why, a lot of it's not going, a lot of people aren't using it, because it might be worse off using it. So I will definitely mention that. But as for the hours thing, I don't know. Like, I think the only way you could earn those hours is using the in-game Twitch client.
Yeah, that's
Otherwise,
from
there's
what
no
I've
way
heard
for us
too.
to really measure the hours.
Yeah, no,
I would talk to. I would talk to Hi-Rez Help. I mean, maybe send them a message and see if they know anything more, because Hi-Rez Help is ran mostly or part of Hi-Rez Gavin, who's basically our broadcast manager. He runs all the shows and stuff on Twitch. So maybe if you can show him proof that you've done 5,000 hours, I don't know.
There's like 2 or 3 other people in Twitch right now that are saying, yeah, I'm getting no frames whenever I'm using it.
Yeah. Well, that's all that needs to be reported. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, Hi-Rez can test as much as they want internally, but the community is definitely the full feedback. So I mean, if there's people in chat right now, or even you that have seen or having that problem, I would definitely recommend reporting that with Hi-Rez Help, just as APC had reported, because the more people that speak out about it, that's how they can find out and they can fix those problems. So. I would definitely bring that up. Now I have to allow you to. I want to hook you up, man. So please go ahead and promote your stream on Twitch.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean you got 900 people in chat. You could possibly earn 900 follows right now. So please, give us your Twitch information.
I'm the Kuchiri. 1 second.
That's no problem.
Let me go ahead and get that copied down.
But yeah, I mean, there might be something they know of already. I don't know, because again, I'm not in that department. But
YouTube?
Why not?
Okay.
We're all about YouTube content.
That's right. That's right. If you want to go ahead and just send it to me on raid call, I'll go ahead and promote it for you in chat.
We gotta permit you. What is exclamation permit?
Well, yeah. If he goes ahead,
I'll just do it right here. Raid call right there.
Yep. I see it. Yep. So the information for him, guys, is twitch.tv/thekudnichu and the same.
The Kuchiri.
That's right.
Without the profile.
That's right. So guys, definitely check that out. And once again, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. We'll grab. We got like 2 people left here. I'm gonna grab. So once again,
thank you so much.
No problem, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'll try to stop by your stream when you're streaming.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I definitely try to do that a lot. Is try to go to different streams and just talk to random people. Like sometimes if the guy has like 1 person watching, I was like, I'm just gonna go in and see what's up, and I try to make his day if he's happy to have a Hi-Rez guy in the room.
Yeah, who did I? What was his name? Hi something. It was. Oh man, I feel so bad now. Anyways, the other day I visited his stream, and he had like 1 viewer, and so I stopped in and just kind of hung out and chatted, and it was amazing how much like people love that. Like, just as somebody in the community just stopping by to say hi and be like, hey, keep up the good work, because that's a big thing.
It's great.
Yeah, people get discouraged a lot. They expect to jump in. Some people expect to jump streaming, and all of a sudden, hey, I got a couple hundred followers, and off we go. That's not necessarily the case. It takes a long time to kind of build that base unless you kind of have a foundation behind you. For example, like Highborn, there we go. Oh, perfect. Somebody put it in chat. Yeah, it was Highborn, and he was such a nice guy, but it was like, I could see that as people striving to do that. So it's pretty cool, and I'm probably going to get like a message later and be like, you shouldn't try to promote other people's streams. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be a nice guy. Let's go ahead and bring on somebody else. Let's go ahead and bring on Bizgone. Bizgone, welcome to Smite Talk. What question do you have for us today, sir?
What's up, man?
Is he there? Oh, I feel bad. Such a shame.
Let's go.
Oh, we gave him a chance here. All right, let's go ahead and.
Why does he have a crown next to his name?
I don't
want
know.
a crown.
I don't know how it works. There's like even a guy in raid call now that's got a crown and like a 5 next to his name, like he's all elite and stuff like that.
What the heck?
I don't know how it works. I just have a gem. I don't know what that means. Let's go ahead and bring in. Oh, he's not in chat anymore. Bummer. Okay, I was going to go ahead and bring in Marauder, but he's not in raid call anymore. So, well, anyways, we'll go ahead and take 2 questions from ask.fm. I went ahead and put it in chat and asked that, put it out there, ask.fm/OctanePro. I do have that up here now. So we have a pretty good amount of questions. So we're just going to answer like 1 or 2 here and kind of go through there. Let's see. 1 sec here. Okay, so let me find a question or 2. There's so many questions, so but there's quite a few actually on some competitive teams. So this is a good one here. So this is aimed towards APC. How do you feel about new teams like Dignitas, Cloud9, TSM, and Cognitive entering the Smite scene? And do you think there will be other really popular teams coming to Smite within the next few months?
So yeah, I mean, the recent announcement between TSM and Cloud9 was just awesome news. I couldn't wait to get out. I mean, we knew about it, prior to it actually going live, of course. Bart making the initial connections and then bringing it to me and Todd, and we're all working together to, make sure they're even on our end of things, so they're out, in touch with stuff. But they're also in touch with the players and doing their own thing with contracts and stuff. So it's really exciting to. How come I hear something else going on in the background? Is that you?
Is that me clicking? Do you hear me clicking?
No, I hear someone talking.
Oh.
Oh, it's because I have this guy's YouTube page open.
I'm pretty good with making it, I'm pretty on top of that. So I'm like, what are you talking about?
It was throwing me off. So, I mean, it's just so awesome. Again, I'll say it again. I'm a big esports fan, and seeing names like when I saw SK Gaming part of the scene, I was a big SK fan back in Counter-Strike, and same with Fnatic. I'd love to see Fnatic out here. But as we see bigger names like Dignitas out there and it's staying with it, Cloud9 and TSM are very happy to be a part of Smite. They see the potential. They know it has its potential to grow as big as League. I was even talking to the person social media from the Cloud9 just before this about various things, and one of them they said was my first time watching Smite, and it was awesome. I see the hype; it's real. I look forward to what you guys do to the game. They're all excited. So you're welcome for the YouTube view.
He's all happy now. He's like, yes!
That's so funny.
You're 15 minutes of fame.
Seeing these names are it brings a smile on my face, and I know it's not the end. It's not like, oh, we just got these names, that's it. I think it should be an eye opener, if anything, to people be like, hey guys, this is a thing, and it's not just they're here just for the 100K. They're here for the long ride because they know it's there. And I could say you could probably look forward to more in the near future too.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it's a really good point. I mean, when I was first seeing teams like Root and Curse come into it, it was a big deal. All of a sudden, you had these teams entering the scene, and they kind of had their glory and then kind of dissipated from the scene. But the team like Dignitas is definitely stuck, and the big thing is getting these teams involved in the scene that are part of all different games, because it brings their audience with them. And that's what we saw today, like with TSM and Cloud9. A lot of them came over that were we're not even part of the Smite scene. They were just fans of that organization, and with social media getting tweeted, or with people reading it on their pages, the teams getting picked up, they just came and checked it out today. I mean, that was 7,000 views, which is, I don't know if that's the top for Smite game. I'm not really sure what the top is, but
no, I think 11K or 12K around a patch notes, but that's the most for a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome. And now I'm just thinking about it. Imagine if that sticks with it, and over the next several weeks and weeks and weeks, I mean, 8 weeks or whatever weeks we're out, a little more than that, for the 100,000. I mean, I would love to see that 20. I think that would be awesome, because as more and more teams come in, outside teams, they're bringing their audience with them. So I think that's super, super cool.
Yeah, seeing the social media, really, I mean, they have a lot of followers on Twitter, and I'm retweeting it, and Bard's retweeting it, so it's all these thousands and thousands of people seeing this, and it's like, wait, what's Smite? Or, oh, wow, TSM's playing in Smite, what's this? And they'll click on it, and they'll realize it's not the TSM team that they're expecting, but it still gets that eye. It's like, oh, wow, what is this game? It looks like League of Legends, but it's different. What's going on? So it's good to have those eyes specifically, too, on the game.
Yeah, definitely. Question here. Are we going to go over the patch notes today, or am I going to go over the patch notes? No, I do not work for Hi-Rez Studios, and I do not have that ability. And that's Bart and Kelly's role. But that would be cool. But no, definitely not happening, guys. Sorry to ruin that for you. Another question. Someone said, "How often is the show?" Because it's really cool. I'm glad you like the show. We're on episode 12, and it's every Sunday.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's every Sunday at 7 p.m. So it's a wonderful outlet for the community. Let's dive into a little more questions here. I think there's one more good question. Here's one. So someone says, why wouldn't there be 6 to 8 teams in the tournament? I know it would be maybe take a long, but I think I guess this is referring to the 100K tournament. I know it would take long, but I think a lot of people are sick of seeing the same 4 teams of people playing and like to root for the underdogs. There are a decent amount of good teams out there that could give them a run for their money. What are your thoughts on the 6 to 8 teams versus the 4 that are going to be at the $100,000 tournament?
Well, those guys can give them the run for their money throughout these 8 weeks. I mean, it's still young. If you think your team can really take down, if you can take down one of the top 4 teams, then you're going to get at least 25 points, and then you'll qualify and you'll be there. So, I mean, that's my first comment to that is like, if you really think you have the team to take them down, start now. I mean, just because you've missed the first week doesn't mean you're out of it. That's far from true. You have many weeks to really prove that. Another big thing is that this event is it's an 8-week event tournament, and then you get flown out. The top 4 teams from each region get flown out by us. We provide the hotel and all, and we have to fit it all in a short time period. So I think it's going to be like 3 days where we're going to have this tournament played. Having more than 8 teams means we have more than just an 8-round either single elimination or double elimination bracket. So it just makes it hard to really fit all those games into like a weekend type deal, especially since this isn't like a league. It's just more of like a hype event, I guess you could call it. Like it's a 100K launch tournament. That's what it is.
Yep.
So I think even having the top 4 teams of each region is still pretty substantial. And I think having 8 of them here, I think, the way we go into it, it might be, it might be like a double elimination where we have best of 3s all the way through. So there's going to be a lot of games going on in a matter of like 3 days. So as much as I would love to see 6 to 8 teams from each region coming out, it just doesn't fit either in our schedule, in our budget really, because that's another 5, 10, 15 people you have to fly out and feed and given hotels for, and there's a lot to it. It seems easy in front of you, but when you look at it behind, like I said, I'm the one now looking from the inside out. I'm like, it's crazy how much how much you have to like prepare for.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm going to the event, paid out of my pocket, and I know how much it is. Several $100s for airfare, and I live on the East Coast, and then you have the hotel fees as well, and if you're bringing these people out, that you probably have to feed them. They have a food stipend as well, and then you also have to look into visas if people are coming, from overseas. So
yes,
the visas are the biggest headache. I can see for you guys planning the $100,000 tournament. There's a lot of work into it, and it's not like there isn't a qualifier. Exactly what you said. You have like 8 weeks of qualifying rounds. So and it is you have to keep in mind like the size of Hi-Rez versus with the budget and everything like that. Like if everything goes well here, hopefully we expect to see ones in the future that are larger. If things continue, the success train, I guess you could call it, continues through the launch of the game and everything like that. So I imagine your dream, especially as like the tournament manager, is definitely to see a much larger LAN event moving forward.
I want to see us fill out the Staples Center in less than an hour.
That'd be awesome.
I would love to see that. That would be the day. Like, congrats to Riot for doing that. It's very, very exciting stuff for not just them, but for the esports genre in general. And I swear, guys, 5-10 years down the road, esports is going to be a thing. Like. I keep trying to, because a lot of like my family, when I went to visit them for the first time since my job, asking about what I do and all, it's really hard to tell it to people older than me, because they don't understand the hype of video games. But if you look at it from like my generation down, like we grew up with video games, and especially you look at kids who are like 5 years old, they are on iPads and on their PlayStations and stuff playing video games. Like they grow up with this stuff. And why wouldn't they want to see that on TV? Why wouldn't they want to watch this game at a professional level? Like, it's becoming more and more a thing. So when I'm a parent and when I'm in control of the media and other people of our generation are part of the media, we're going to look at what we wanted to see. Like, what do people want to see? What do the teenagers and the 20-year-olds and all them want to see? Well, they're going to want to see video games. The parents can't say the same because they don't understand.
Yeah. But
more as time goes on, it's going to be a thing, and I'm going to be a part of that train.
Sure. So one last question I saw in chat. I thought it was kind of cool, like casual question.
Sure.
For both of us, who is your favorite streamer to watch? So I'll throw it to you first.
Favorite streamer to watch? Okay.
We'll keep it isolated to Smite, just because of the fact that that's our topic at hand. Because I know you could go ahead and throw a Tribes one out or a CS:GO one out, no problem. I bet.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I watch everybody for a different reason. And I think a lot of people have the same kind of vibe. I'll tell you, I thoroughly enjoy watching Bart stream, and a lot of people in the office do too. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, definitely entertaining.
But what the heck is this? Let's see. It's hard to narrow it down to like a favorite. I do like Dry Bear. He's very smart and he's very like funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's
yeah, definitely.
He's very unique as a person. He doesn't rage. He's very friendly in person and on stream. So I think we all really like Dry Bear as a whole. But if I had to throw someone that's random, let me think. Someone that's not just like on the Smite game channel.
Sure. No, I think that's a good choice.
You know who was funny that I went to go view one day? I don't know why I stumbled upon a stream, but you guys all know Fats.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
He was drunk on stream one day, and he was just hilarious. I had a good time like trolling him in chat, and his chat was funny too, and he was just making fun of himself. I had a lot of fun. That's why I was saying like the Smite community is unique because there's a lot of variety of people that I haven't met yet.
Sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I think for me it's kind of interesting.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, I know I talk to a lot, and just with the podcast I do and streaming stuff like that, I talk to a lot of people and a lot of the streamers and stuff like that, and coordinate. I like to play with other streamers as well, kind of collaborate stuff. But this person, I'll talk about the person first, and I'll tell you who it is. This person,
Okay.
for some reason, they rubbed me the wrong way when I first saw them on stream, and I really didn't like them at all. I didn't like hearing their voice. I didn't like watching them. I didn't like their attitude towards the stream and stuff like that. And I don't know what had happened, but then all of a sudden I was like, oh wow, I maybe I gave this person a second chance, and that's just the type of person I am. And I've thoroughly liked their content, what they're doing in the scene, and just how involved they are in the scene. And people might be surprised, but it's definitely DM Brandon.
I knew that one was coming.
I don't know what it was. I don't even remember what it was, but I used to really dislike Brandon. I don't know why. But now, over the past several months now, I've definitely grown to have a respect for him and really enjoy watching him. And so I definitely throw him on, when I'm doing things in the background and stuff like that. So shout outs to DM Brandon.
No, I hear that. I do like DM. Meeting him in person, he was down here in Atlanta a couple weeks ago,
Sure.
For the Tier Monster Divine Intervention tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Dry Bear, just in person, are just fantastic people.
I bet.
DM Brandon, you could see the side, and I could see how he can rub you the wrong way. But if you really look at it, don't look at too deep into it. You just look at him as a person and how smart he is with the game, and especially talking with him in person. He's a very down to earth human being. I really respect him. So.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. Yeah.
That's right. Well, anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and close out the show. It's been about an hour and 25 minutes, a little overdue. So hopefully you have it in mind there, Adam. But if you guys are catching this show a little bit late and want to catch the whole show, you can check out the audio version on iTunes. So if you guys want to catch it while you're in the car, at the gym, or whatever, it is on iTunes. Look up Smite Talk. And very easy to find with that circular shield logo that we do have for Smite Talk. Also, it is on, if you guys are using an Android device, you can download, Android doesn't really have a centered podcast type of app, but you can download an app it's called Beyond Pod, and it's a podcast app, and then you can search for podcasts. So you can look for it, Beyond Pod's the app, and then search for Smite Talk. You can download it. If you guys have any questions that you didn't get to kind of send out today or ask today, shoot them over to smitetalk@gmail.com. As always, Smite Talk is a production of OctaneProGaming.com. Please visit OctaneProGaming.com for more content, along with another community Smite podcast that I do every week called the Smite Update. Special thanks to Hi-Rez Studios for allowing Smite Talk to air on Smite Game every week. The show airs live every Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. For the YouTube audience, it's twitch.tv/SmiteGame. And you guys can actually check out the video version from today on youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. And Adam, is there any social media outlets that people can follow you on?
Oh, plugs for days. Let's get this going.
Go for it. It's all you. I'll be back later.
Well, Bart has over 17,000 followers, and I only have about 1,700 myself. So, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, that'd be great. But no, I try to be as formative and random thoughts and funny stuff on my Twitter. So, at Hi-Rez APC. If you guys don't use Twitter, I highly, highly recommend it. Follow your favorite people, your favorite streamers, your favorite casters, anybody. They're all here on Twitter, and that's what their main source to talk to you. So I'm really pushing you guys to go on Twitter. And yeah, there you go. Cuba threw out the link for mine. I also recently added. I downloaded Snapchat.
Oh boy,
And I was
watch out!
like, you know what? Let's see what. Give me your worst, because I think for the most part people will be actually pretty friendly. I don't know what the hype is behind Snapchat, but I kind of want to get a taste of it. So I made a Snapchat yesterday. So if you guys wanted to Snapchat me just for the hell of it, I'm down. It's Snap APC, one word.
There you go.
And I'll just block you. I'll just block you, or I'll deactivate the whole account if I really get fed up with it. But it's kind of funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you guys will find me here. If you guys have any questions directly to me about tournaments, you can always find me at Hi-Rez APC at hirezstudios.com. That's my email. Easily get a hold of me there, and I'm always responsive.
So DM Brandon in chat just goes, follow APC at twitter.com/juiced. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a troll. We say all these nice things about him, and then he throws you under the bus.
And yeah, guys, you guys will be seeing me on Reddit. I'm Hi-Rez APC on Reddit as well. I'll be putting posts out about the esports scene, recaps, and what to look forward to. Look forward to this week where Todd's going to make a post about where exactly the 100K is going to be and more details behind it. So that's something. I really hope you guys can make it to the show. It's going to be well worth it. I can guarantee that. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to make a post next week about pugs. I really want to get a pug scene going in the Smite community. I'm a huge fan of them. And basically a pug is a pickup game where you're a captain. You have two captains. They pick 4 of the people. And you just do a random custom either conquest or arena match. And then at the end of the game, GG's, and you do it again. And it just runs. It's like your own casual competitive mode. That's basically what it is, and we have a mumble for that. You can find that in the sidebar of the Reddit, Reddit/r/Smite.
Sure.
But
I think that's
about it.
We need that in game though. That needs to be in game. The looking for group and pug system. Get it in game.
When I said for that first question I want more of a social system where not only just chats, but also some kind of competitive queue for pugs where people just we kind of have that, but not exactly. Where you could just queue up for a conquest and it automatically matches you with 4 of the people. But being able to sign up for a role and pugs are great. And I really hope when I put that post up, you guys can really join me. I think I'm going to do a designated time on Tuesday, and have you guys join me.
No, that'd be awesome.
That's my plan.
Well, once again, Adam, thank you very much for coming on the show. You're actually the first Hi-Rez employee that we've had on Smite Talk, so you should feel...
Oh, yeah.
That's right. We do have...
Kitty, we did it.
That's right. I do have some others. I do have some other Hi-Rez employees lined up in the future, but you're definitely the first. So thank you very much for coming on the show. It was great. Big thanks to the show sponsors, tweakedaudio.com, and we will see you guys next Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern for the next episode of Smite Talk Podcast, where we'll have Squiddish on the show as our guest. Once again, guys, thank you guys very much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Take it easy.